Hey, good morning, everybody. It is the Dev Talk Show here on May 26th, on a Tuesday, which I would have forgotten. I thought all day yesterday was Sunday because here in the States, we had a holiday for most people. Most people observe or at least have the day off from work for Memorial Day, which is one of the key U.S. holidays. So, with that said, I'm here with my co-host Rich Ross. How are you doing?
Doing well, Chris. Happy Tuesday.
Yeah. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Little rainy where we're at, and then now today is gorgeous, which we could have used over the weekend, but that's okay. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, definitely. I was re-looking at my earbuds and Bluetooth earbuds, and because I'm getting old and I'm listening to the earbuds, and in the gym they're like cranked up to 100 right now, and they're supposed to be like noise canceling and all that stuff, right? And like I can't be this old. Got to be something. And they're 3-year-old earbuds, and they've been awesome, and I use them a predominant amount of my day. So maybe I
Sure.
am starting to lose my hearing. And I went out last night and I bought they were the original Galaxy earbuds. Now there's a version 4 out. Tells you how long it's goes since I've gotten it. And I bought them last night and I put them in the gym this morning. It's like, yeah, now I only need the volume at 40 instead of 100. They are awesome. So glad to hear it's not my hearing.
Yeah, cool.
So
No, I gotcha. It's interesting how when noise canceling doesn't work or does work, like you sort of get used to something, and then see, I kind of wonder. I don't have great noise canceling in my earbuds, but there are times when I actually have to go into the app and double check, like, is it even on?
Right.
So I wonder for sure what's going on there. But in any case, yeah, welcome to the Dev Talk Show. And this morning, we're going to talk a little bit about the show producer that we've been threatening to build. And so, and using...
Have been building
go ahead.
behind the scenes.
Yeah, right. And so what does this do? The idea is that there's a lot that can go on that maybe this channel is not doing to have a better quality channel, including having better show notes and timestamps. And I think, the ideas come pretty easy after that, probably producing some shorts or some combined videos out of like some of the demos, where if you're watching us live and you don't mind watching us live or longer form, so to speak, there can be gaps that maybe weren't necessary if all you wanted to do was just see the thing happen. And right. So it's probably possible that we could have some editing done there. And so last time we were together, we talked about, I think we were talking through some instructions files and some skills that could be used just with Copilot. And it wouldn't matter if this was Copilot in any of its forms, like the CLI or in VS Code, even in the IDE, right? Because they all now recognize those files in your repo, I'm pretty sure.
They recognize the files in your repo. And if you're thinking about, there's, the explosion of user experience or chat interfaces or some kind of way of accessing a Copilot behind the scenes has, exploded over the last couple of months. So there's some, so definitely keep an eye out, because there'll be some more information coming into that with build coming next week. But even the idea of the whole point of that is having the ability to create skills is one of the most economical ways that you can reuse what it is that you're trying to do. And that's kind of why I started down this path of, hey, let's create a skill to plan out the episode. So having it as the basis of it. But because skills become that low-hanging fruit that can essentially be exposed anywhere.
Right. And that's something that I'd like to talk about too, because we've done some Foundry work on this show. And so the first thing that popped into my head is, well, wait a second, I don't remember seeing anything like that. So I think we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But as the title of the show goes, is you were discussing with me just before we went on about how in order to get this work done, you had or at least maybe the beginnings of a CLI created
Yeah.
That caught my attention because I would have never thought of this.
Well, okay. So the thought of, just I had some time over the weekend and I was doing some thoughts around what things might look like and um, because we had the skills that would create, if we go, I guess if you want to bring my screen up, we can kind of do that,
Yeah.
kind of show where we are.
All right.
Submit a little bit here so we get some. Cool. All right, you can see my screen. We'll go one more. That should be probably good enough. If we think about what we had here is, we had kind of background for those who may not have seen before. We went down the path of, hey, let's go ahead and create a skill. And that skill will define, what is an episode if we give it kind of a rough idea of what it is that we're trying to build out. And then that will go ahead and create these various, here's one here around doing a show around creating skills. And we have all this information that gets dropped inside of here. So that was our first bit of looking at this. And that's kind of a manual process, right? You're going through and you're having a conversation with, some kind of a chat. So if I go ahead and do this and say, okay, using, I can search for the skill because the skill is in my list of, it's on my list of skills here in that GitHub folder. So I can find it easily. And I can say, hey, for the episode planner, let's do a show on building our own CLI, the Dev Talk Show producer, right? Something like that. Get rid of that too. So it can go ahead and start that process for us. So it's going to go ahead and create the full thing. So it's an interactive process, right? I'm not going to give this to an agent and say, go build an episode plan for me, because I might want to see it, look at it, tweak it. It's almost like creating a document. And that's kind of what we're doing here. So I want to have it be interactive. And that led us down the path of, and I kind of short-circuited what we did next, which was, now that we've got this episode planner, we kind of also need to have a show description that happens at it. So once you create the episode, let's go ahead and define, what's going to be that description and information that goes in the YouTube channel. And then we can update it, maybe the Twitch channel as well, and have that get created. So that's where we think, maybe if we went and created a producer agent and have that agent have access to the two skills that we created, one to create the episode and the other one that creates the description, then we could just talk to the agent and have it do all of this at once with one conversation, instead of having to have a conversation to invoke a skill for the planner and another conversation to invoke the skill for the description. Good so far?
Yeah. So the agent knows that it has these skills. And I think, if I remember correctly, when you were showing the agent.
Yep. Bring it back up.
It's basically got instructions. Yeah, there it is. Line 10. You do this by invoking two skills in sequence. So you're basically telling it, hey, when I talk to you, you're going to do these things. And right now you just have two things.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. But that's, okay. So no, I get how that works. And I see the skills are there. Skill MD files are there.
Yep. And then the agent has the ability to do a whole bunch of workflow. The agent also has the ability to invoke tools, because it needs to be able to read and edit the content that's in the repository here, and maybe create to-do tasks, because it knows it's got a couple of things it's got to schedule, essentially. So, So that's kind of where we got to. And then that was the first show. And then the second show, we started thinking about, we need to be able to obviously write this description to YouTube, as I kind of mentioned as we were going through looking at this file here. And that's okay. But the problem is, for us, our work process is we use StreamYard, and StreamYard saves us a ton of time when it comes to connecting, and just, we can just basically launch, we're in the studio and hit the button with the title and we're off and running. None of this configuration that we'd always run into with OBS and making sure that we were in sync and making sure we could see your screen and all of those things. StreamYard just works. So taking that mental ability off of us is one thing, but what that does is it means that StreamYard kind of owns that initial press of scheduling up in YouTube. So that's kind of where we had to go into. So as I was having this conversation and looking at this research that was happening, and this is the output from that research conversation that I had with Copilot over the weekend. It was trying to throw OBS in there. Like, no, we don't use OBS. We use StreamYard. It's like, oh, you probably need to think about that. And in thinking about, will StreamYard be the one that owns it? We probably need something local for us to then go up and modify that. And that kind of led to, well, if we're doing that, it really doesn't need to be a full-on Windows application or Linux application, right? Because we want this to run anywhere. So maybe it just needs to be some kind of a command line interface or a CLI component that just does things like authenticate, because once you're authenticated, you can store those credentials in Windows Credential Store, much like the GitHub CLI was. I started thinking about it in that aspect, right? We saw this when we were doing, let me bring in PowerShell. Right, so we do the GitHub CLI. We can say GitHub CLI status, right? So, right, it knows about different things that different things that I'm aware of, right? This is, right, that's fine. I could do GitHub auth status, right? This is the one we were doing when we were doing the Oh My Posh thing, right? This is the information that we need to make sure. So who am I signed in as, and can I switch between different authentications? So these kind of things are similar over on the YouTube side. So that's kind of why I was thinking of them that way. So much like we could here, TS, YouTube. Don't want to run that yet. Hang on 1 second there. I want to, because they made some changes. Tools. Yep. Build. It's gonna compile. That's fine. Sorry, we'll worry about the warnings later.
Well, yeah, I've actually dealt with this before. It's just warning you that it looks like you're very likely using the DP API, and that's only accessible on Windows. That's all it's telling you.
That is probably true. Because I never put in, hey, even though in my mind we wanted to, it didn't say that we should do that. So so if I go ahead and do status, it's not recognized command that file name. What? Did I mess something up here? I probably broke it.
Well, are you in the folder with the exe or no?
It was in the path.
Oh, in the path of the other folder or this newer one that you're in?
That's a good question. In the path,
because it looks like you switched to a different folder. That's all.
I did. So let's try this. Okay, that's where we were. Facility path is excluded. Can you come off my screen for a minute?
Okay.
Hold on. Got an idea. I don't know why the executable. So if you redo the executable, then it shouldn't matter. I mean, the exe is the exe. And if the exe is written to the path, then it should still find it.
Yeah, I mean, you just showed it to me a second ago too. So, yeah, you ran it right in front of me just before we went live. So,
oh yeah, there's that.
So I knew it worked.
No, it works, or it worked till I changed it. So that's a good question. Then is it this one that I could just do this? And maybe there's something unique about this path in here, and I'll have to go back and find out. Yeah, that's odd. So here it works.
So can I move back to it?
Okay. Now that we know, yeah. I don't know why that's the case.
Okay, so this folder.
Oh, I don't think it's the folder. I think it's the terminal. Somehow I paste something into this terminal that lets it know what the path is.
Yeah, the other terminal doesn't seem to know. Okay, that's interesting. All right, so I guess for now we'll stay in here, and then, like you said, you can figure it out.
Yep.
So yeah, you have this whole, like, we haven't even seen it. If you run the terminal without anything, you get,
Help.
just like every terminal,
Mhm.
you get help. And it looks like what you've implemented already is the ability to authenticate, which is
Yes.
something we were trying to do manually last time.
Right. Right.
And even after we went off the air, um, you know, I don't remember if on the air we got the access token. I think we did. I
We
don't
did.
remember for sure though.
We
And
did.
then
We were able to write to edit.
yes, that's right. We created a show basically,
Mhm.
or a future one. We scheduled a future event with the
Yes.
YouTube API. Now, what I found when we went offline immediately was that I couldn't get another access token.
Right.
And I blamed myself, and then found out that that's actually, it's part of the workflow, is that once you've basically approved this request, they won't do it again.
Which makes multiple
They
machines
being, yeah, they being the Google API.
right.
There's a way that you could go in there and reset that. Now, I don't know if you found that you've had to do that, but your CLI basically goes through the process and then saves the secrets so that you have access token, refresh token for later use.
Yep.
I didn't do that because I was just tooling around in the REST client.
True.
So
True.
I don't know if you have tried, which is okay if you haven't. I don't want to put, it's not important even to this conversation. Is, let's say that you don't have that file anymore with the
Mhm.
secrets,
I
and
right.
you tried this again, it would or would not work.
It would work.
Okay.
I don't know that because I did not authenticate before, right? So the only way to really know that is to kind of sign out and sign back in.
Yeah, right. Which is fine. So here's the key. The key is your setup,
Mhm.
meaning that, and for one thing, this CLI was created. You basically, this was a, what did you use to do? Was it just a conversation with Copilot CLI? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was just basically saying, all right, let's think about this. We need some way of doing this part of the process, and it should be probably some kind of a command line interface. So think of the things that need to be in there, like, um, and that's why if we look at the project itself, there are things like, um,
The CLI was your idea. Not saying it couldn't be, but here's the funny thing. If you would have said to me, like, I'm having the conversation and we need a way to do this, and it suggested a CLI, that's just would be interesting to me.
I kind of steered it down that path.
Okay.
So
That's fine. There's nothing. It's
sure.
just,
No, that's fair.
I'm more and more interested in, like, as the lines are blurring in what comes out of your head and what comes out of conversations with these different, different platforms and Copilot and so on, is when it says to me, like, what you could really use here, like, that would be interesting. That's all.
Yeah, let's go see, because this might be the one where
Yeah, like you
how we
said there,
find how it
this
works.
is a .NET CLI tool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looked like part of your conversation. CLI building for DevTalkShow. Yeah. Okay.
And I did it. Yeah. Do I still have? Hang on. One more thing we can try here to make it work. There you go. Oh, it's usage instructions still. Never mind. Okay. Yeah. So I could probably, it's probably in my CLI, because that's probably, I know that's where I did it. So, okay. So I believe the way it went was it was starting to get on the OBS path, or no, I basically said, it doesn't have to be a Windows application. This probably should run in the terminal, was something well along the lines of what I said. And I probably did mention the GitHub CLI as an example, because that was really what was starting to churn in my head as we started doing it. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the point is you can call the auth command
Mhm.
to start and complete the browser flow, and now this CLI has what it needs to make YouTube API calls.
Yes.
And status is really going out. It's happening to be using your YouTube channel, but it doesn't matter.
Right. So it
And
does
it's
go.
finding out what's scheduled.
Yes, exactly. Now, are we going to be able to do this? Can we go to StreamYard and create another stream, like a future stream?
I mean, yeah, that's definitely possible. I think for me, I'm wondering, do we have to run this again, somehow pointing it at this channel? And
Yeah.
is the CLI ready for that? Or maybe we could be updated quickly to be ready for that.
So I actually started asking that question in the background. That's one of the other things that one of the other chats that was happening right before we went live, or before you and I started talking. So it does not. It is only using the channel of the logged in user. So what we would have to do is go log in as the DevTalkShow user, because there is one, and then use that as the because that's going to be aware of the broadcasts, which is what YouTube defines as these placeholders for when you're going to go live.
Okay.
So if I could do that here, just do off login. Use clear to re-authenticate. Oh, okay. So something else to put on the backlog is the ability to have multiple authentications and then be able to switch between them, because we might need to do that. And that kind of mimics what you can do up in the YouTube channel as well, right? You can be logged in as yourself, but then because I'm an admin on the Dev Talk Show, I want to be able to say, well, no, I want to be the Dev Talk Show persona right now because I want to go do that admin capability. Same idea. We want to be able to do that here. So, but for this, what we have right now, let's just do log out. Store credentials cleared. Beautiful. Let's go log in. And now you should just see this. You don't see what's happening off screen, right?
I just see your VS Code window right now. That's it.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is,
like you said, you logged out.
Yeah.
Logging back in.
Well, I'm logging in as.
Oh, I got you. Right. Yeah. The different account that is the owner of the channel that we're all watching right now.
Yes. And that sends a code to my phone. Now, what you can't see is that because this app is technically not been verified by Google, that we're just testing all this out, I get a little window that pops up after I do all the two-factor and everything, saying this Google app Google hasn't verified this app. Do you still want to continue or go back to safe? So we're going to say continue.
Right. And the other thing we had to do, if I remember correctly, is in the Google dashboard for this app.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like an app registration, but it's not what they call it.
Right.
That we had to specify which Google accounts were enabled to test it. And I get why they do all that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
and you can have many. I mean, you can have like to 100 users.
Sure.
Right. But because we created this app registration with the Dev Talk Show account, it's already in there by default.
Yeah.
I added mine. So that's why I was able to use this to authenticate. But now we're in. So I can
look at that. So now I expect that you won't see any broadcasts ready by doing status.
I would think.
I don't know if that's what you were about to say. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I just who am I now logged in as, right? I'm now logged in as Dev Talk Show.
That's cool.
With valid credentials. So I can come into this. So there must be one up there that we did in the past, because we didn't do a show on Friday, right? There was going to be a Friday show that we didn't end up doing. So there is a placeholder for one. And then I'm not sure what this is.
Yeah.
It's something that is unknown. So there's no scheduled date for it. But
okay. That's interesting. I wonder what its criteria is. And the only reason I say that is because if I just visit the site as a user, I am not seeing those, I think, because they're in the past.
Yep.
However, that said, the build an agent that schedules our YouTube episodes is still scheduled for May 22nd. It's in the past. So my suspicion is that it's just not going to show it. Right. For people who visit the site now. Now, that said, the one that says live coding automated content creation, I'm not sure where that one is coming from.
Yeah, that first, I mean, if you go to live, so if you go
Yeah.
to, and you should see those, anything that we created for a placeholder there.
Well, I see the placeholder for the second one.
Okay.
I see that one.
But not the first one.
No, and that's okay. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, figuring out what's going on here is part of the battle.
Yeah.
I was going to very quickly add an upcoming show.
Yeah, go ahead.
So one of the reasons that this workflow is required is because if you want StreamYard to just directly plug in, then it has to create the show.
Right.
We discovered that by looking through StreamYard docs. And then there isn't an API that would let us automate this.
Right.
So what I'm going to do right now is I am going to create a YouTube only broadcast scheduled for tomorrow at 7:45 a.m. And it's not, it's not going to be the most special thing in the world, but I'm hitting save right now.
Okay.
And so that is scheduled. That is now scheduled. So
now, let's go back to here. If we do status again, we actually do have 3 shares now.
Yeah, and there it is.
Which is what we would have expected. And I'm sure you have some kind of description in there. But what's cool is we can now find that. So let's see how this works. If I do, and I've not tried this part, so I have no idea if it's going to work or not. We can do find help. Let's just bring that back up. So I can do find with the options of I can use the date, I can use the title. So let's go ahead and do this test feature stream because we know that's a thing. Stream. It comes back and it's got an ID for that item.
Okay.
And the ID is going to be important because if we also look at there are 4 things that we can do inside of here, right? And those are so we did status, we did auth, we did find. The last one we can do is something called update. So you can see but the update's going to need this thing here, which is our broadcast ID, which we just got. So we do update, broadcast ID, and then options if there are any. So we can include a thumbnail. We can path to the episode plan file.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, right? So we can basically say here, you're going to use this. And did we do? Well, we could pick one because I don't know that we have one specifically scheduled for this. Pending changes from chat, untracked. Sorry, let's see. Let's just keep them. Fine. So we'll do this one. This is the one that I just kind of really quickly iterated off to the side, but it's set for today. But we'll set it for, we'll say tomorrow. That's fine. Runtime, it's never 45 minutes, 60, CLI.net, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. We'll pull it down. We're not going to keep it. But we at least show that, hey, this is what can be done. Okay, so bring the CLI back up. We got this. I'm going to do TTS-1T update. We're going to do broadcast ID is expected. So if I go to here and copy this. There we go. So I don't need to do anything more than that. And options. And we want to go ahead and do cool episode /2026-05-26. Boom.
Okay. So you're saying to update that
Yeah.
show's ID, which is YouTube's ID for the scheduled event, and then here's the file to base the update on.
Yes.
All right.
Now, I probably will have to open a window to bring that up, but one of the things that will change is this, right? We know this part is going to go ahead and change. It may change the date of it as well. Although I changed that too. Never mind. That's already in there as that. Okay, let's just hit it, see what happens. No to YouTube companion file found. Description will not be updated. Expected. Oh. Got it. Because we didn't do this. It's not the showrunner file. It's the show description writer.
Okay.
Right.
So this is a skill.
Yes.
All right. I see what you're saying. Go ahead.
Go ahead and make a skill for the episode 2026-05-26. We'll put some dashes in there.
Okay, so let me update here. What's happening here is that what you actually pass in to this CLI is not that episode. What would you consider that markdown file? That's just,
they call that the run of show. So
okay.
It talks about all of the, what are the questions? How are we setting up these different sections? All those kind of things.
Okay.
Where what we want is something like this, which is the YouTube component, which is the title in this episode, runtime. So let's see about that.
Okay, so right now, that description writer skill is run from something like Copilot CLI, or in this case, you're using Copilot in VS Code. Now, this may launch neatly into the discussion we were having just before we went live, which was you showing me these skills. And I said this. I said, well, wait, we've been making an agent in Foundry, the pizza bot.
Yeah.
And in the pizza bot, I remember being able to add instructions and being able to add knowledge and function tools and MCP tools, but I don't see anything about adding skills. What are agents supposed to do?
Right.
And it's funny, the word agent, all these words, I'm going to still say that I feel like a lot of these words are getting overloaded, because certainly there are agents that are being built to be used by the GitHub Copilot right here. They're sitting right there in the agents folder.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing as a hosted agent sitting in a service like Foundry, or not even Foundry, just a hosted agent that you're putting in your own machine or Azure Container Apps or whatever.
Right.
All using OpenAI protocols to communicate. So like these things are sitting out there in the world. Like I'm listening on open standard protocols versus this, which is you're invoking me with GitHub Copilot. Right. And so I was sitting there saying, I don't see anything about skills. And then as we were talking, I go and look it up, and use skills in Foundry is a preview feature. So there's REST API support, Foundry API support, and then there's a .NET sample. And so it's like, oh, this is all happening.
Yeah. So these timelines have been like super accelerated. So if you go back, probably beginning of the year, end of last year, where everybody was talking about agents, everything was an agent. right? And agents are great because agents have, the ability to work with a model, so they're able to get some understanding of what needs to be done. They're able to access tools, which also gives them the ability to do work, to do something in the environment there. So between those three things, that's typically how, I refer to an agent, right? Access to a model, has the ability to access tools, and has the authority to go ahead and do that kind of work, whatever those are, whatever it is you're trying to do. Um, Skills are a little more focused, whereas an agent might be, and I'm trying to remember, I heard this, I'm trying, because everybody asks, when should I create an agent versus a skill? Because over the last, certainly into this year, at the beginning of this year, we were really starting to notice skills as the thing to really focus on. So, because skills are, I almost think of it like a task, like a specific unit.
Right. How to
Right?
do something.
Exactly. Whereas
Yeah.
an agent can certainly do a task, but as you
Right.
see here, it actually has the capability to do a collection of tasks or to
Yep.
go down a
Yep.
path of solving a problem.
Right. Like I can think of it this way is imagine you're a server in a restaurant. Well, that's the agent.
Sure.
All the directions on how to be a server. The skill is checking someone's ID for age.
Yeah.
That's a skill. I could take that skill and apply it to being a bouncer at the club or being the person at the retailer at the liquor store or just anything that requires age verification. It doesn't
Right.
even have to have, I've picked a couple alcohol related ones, but it could be anything. It doesn't matter. So that's a skill. And I want to give the agent the skill because I might use that. And now I don't want to overstate this to say that the purpose of this is so that you can take skills and use them everywhere. But I do think the purpose is to decouple the guidelines for behavior from what to do.
Yeah.
So what I put in the agent instructions is when someone orders alcohol as a server, you need to check their age. If no one's ordering it, then you don't have to do it at all.
Right. Or think about maybe some of the other things in the restaurant, right? The person at the bar or the server might need to have the age verification skill, but the person who is the hostess who seats you probably doesn't.
Right. Right. Exactly. So I'm beginning, that is becoming more and more clear. And I'm actually was thinking in my head before, I just thought like, well, wait a second, these agents that we built with Foundry, or again, I know I keep picking on Foundry just because it was great to be this all-in-one hosted solution. It knows how to deploy it. It knows how to do the arc. Like I didn't have to learn anything about hosting, whatever, which I do think would be a cool exercise, but
yeah,
I didn't have to learn it. We could give it instructions, but we couldn't give it skills. We could give it tools, which is not the same thing.
Right.
And so I was actually pleasantly surprised when I just literally randomly typed into search agent skills in Foundry and up comes a learn document, use skills in Foundry preview. So I'm like, oh, yep. Here we go.
So skills are, we've been talking about agents for a while. Skills are, people are starting to understand skills. There's a great specification out there for skills and really how to start using them and include them in your agents. And oftentimes that is where a lot of the conversation is starting because we're focused on, hey, let's get these individual tasks done. Now that we have all those tasks, how do we roll them up into specific agents, being aware of the tasks that they need to complete? So much like you were going through with the restaurant analogy. So what's cool is we now have what should be an MD document that has the pieces that our CLI should be looking for, because all of this was in place when we built the CLI component. So let's go back and rerun this. So, but instead of calling this one, we're going to call the YouTube one. Okay, let's run this. That's even worse. I got red letters on this one. Let's see. No YAML matter found. Interesting. I think we might, so we got about 15 minutes left. Let's do this. Sorry, not that. Nope, this. let's get rid of that. And now it came back with a message of it's not finding it. Interesting.
Well, it just said there was no front matter in the
Yeah.
file. What was the file we passed to it? I'm just curious.
Yep, it was this one.
Okay.
So, and it's right, it doesn't. Do previous ones have?
I think you have. There was. Well, I thought maybe.
Yeah, the only one with the front matter is this one.
Okay. Well, it sounds to me like that's the one to try.
But we did. And it's,
oh, was it?
Yeah, but it didn't have the description in it. So that's why I'm trying to wonder, what's it, if I go back to
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I'm trying to break down and say, okay, what are you expecting for front matter? The description. Oh, I didn't know we had a dry run path. That's cool.
Yeah, I saw that. So it threw an exception.
Yeah. Episode source path. What do we call it? Source path. That's it. That's the only one. So episode is a model. Right, there's a source path. There's an episode parser. Which is probably what parse front matter. There we go. So if we just did this, and I agree, this is probably not, we've got to go back and kind of rethink about this a little bit. So that's that. Give me this one. And if I just do, oh, what the heck was that? I didn't want that. Okay. Yeah. So paste. All right. So now we've got some front matter in here. Let's save this.
Okay.
And I guess this would be all the description.
So that's not saved yet, I don't think.
Good call. Thank you.
Okay, now it is.
Let's go back to here.
And then let's just see, what are you running real quick? When you're going to run it, so.
Yep. So we're going to basically run the same command.
Yep. Okay. That's the file you were working on. Okay. And it now has front matter.
No,
okay.
Companion file found.
So interesting that it's looking for a file with the same name except another dash YouTube.
Wait, what? All right, so let's take a look here. So the episode. All right, let's go back to here for a second, because that tells me it's not looking for. Although that got around this. Well, that's because that was the only file we gave it. We gave it the YouTube file. So let's pull that out for a second, because I don't think we need that. I think what we need is this. And maybe what we should do is all right. The path to the planned episode file, because that's what we need. So then that really should just be this.
Yeah, I don't know what it meant by a YouTube companion file, but
well,
okay. I see what you're saying. Is it?
I think we didn't have it, right? Because it's going to take the name of this and just dash YouTube at the end of it, which is thinking it needed.
Yeah.
And it got past it because that YouTube file had the front matter in it, but we pulled that from this file. So this should run.
Okay.
I think the problem before was we didn't run I think here's what I think happened. We didn't have the YouTube files, and I went and ran them and thought, well, the YouTube files are what we need. And it really isn't. It's the episode plan, which is what gets created first. So
okay,
you can hit enter.
So now it did what you wanted. It just didn't update the broadcast. That's all.
Right. It had an HTTPS code of bad request status.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now this update's worked before. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm wondering.
Did this update work before? I don't know. It's the first time we run it.
Oh, okay. So maybe.
So let me bring this down. So there's an update metadata async. I don't have a custom thumbnail truncate, doesn't matter. IList, tags. So let me ask this. Yeah, so it didn't make the update.
Right. But it kind of looks like it was ready to.
Yeah. And I'm thinking if we had some better logging around the broadcast service, we should be able to figure out what's doing. Because just telling the status isn't really going to tell us anything. So find upcoming async, doesn't matter. It's update meta async. This is the one we need. We've got a broadcast ID, title, description, and tags.
Now, is the live is this using a YouTube API or did this build something?
It's using the YouTube API. So so this YouTube, it's probably
I saw it a little bit further down. I saw when it was trying to call it.
Right. So it's using those.
Yep. I guess the SDK is more appropriate. So yeah, line 71, it's trying to update it.
Okay. And then execute the update request async. There is no try catch here.
No, but what I'm wondering, I wonder now, okay, here's what I wonder.
Yeah.
That update method is saying we are updating. I'm going to guess, not having ever used this update method, it's saying that we are going to update the snippet only, but I have a feeling that maybe that's not good enough because the data structure with current in it might still have a status. So if you go up just a couple lines that are off screen right now, and I've never used this API, but you see how you pass it that you want snippet status and content details. I kind of wonder if you need to pass status that exact same way on line 71.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. The reason I say this is because when we were using the API Explorer, status was required. We couldn't move forward without it.
Yeah. So that is true. Apply updates to the broadcast snippet. And then, so we'd have to look at the API and see what status should be.
Or if you just put comma status in that string and run it again and cross your fingers. Yes, I agree with you that the API documentation is probably the better way to go, but I just wonder if that just gets this updated for now.
Let me see. So there's only 2 values I can put in here, and I would have to change this.
Yeah, well, I think You can't, so it's not letting you just put like comma status for the string.
Well, no, because the signature is
It's just a string. I think what you're telling it is you're telling it what parts you want, just like when we were using the part API, the part query string.
I don't see what you're saying. Yes, like that.
I don't know if the space matters. I really don't. Maybe it doesn't.
No. Now I
So
know what you're saying.
I'm curious what this does. It again, this is, I've never used their SDK. The only reason I'm sitting on this is because we were playing with the API manually.
Yeah.
So I think you just got to build it and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it'd be cool if this worked. I'm not going to try to say that it's correct.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's certainly a lot of feedback now. And this is probably the fun part, working with Copilot, because a lot of the stuff that you're doing manually now could all be in the CLI, like selecting the show, a menu of shows could come up.
Yeah.
And so basically you don't have to ever have to go searching around for anything. But I'm similar to you. I kind of just want to see it work. And then it's like, okay, now can work through the UX, the experience for the user. But let's see. Okay, so now I think maybe you do have to add that third one.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Same.
So the reason why I'm getting at that is because I remember we had to say in the query string, we had to have snippet and status.
Yeah.
I think we didn't have to have content details because we weren't adding any content details. I think those were optional.
Yes.
But snippet and status were required. And unfortunately, if you weren't watching the previous or haven't played with the API, what I'm saying is probably people watching are like, what are you talking about? And it's just that the API for YouTube required some, it has this part parameter where you tell it what you're doing. And the thing I didn't understand from my point of view is, why is this in the query string? But you know what? I don't know. There could be a very good reason. For all I know, maybe I can't imagine this is it. Maybe they use this to route, maybe they've got like a gateway sitting in front, and because it's in the query string, they can just go route it off somewhere without having to read through, requests, which I think most API management tools would be like, I don't know that I want to go that far. Like, it'll route things based on, most of the time, I think you'll route things based on the query, not on the URL. Not, you don't want to dive deeper, because if once, or headers, but you dive deeper than that, and now you're just making your life miserable. So, okay. So that says that it was successful.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that if you head to the YouTube page, it's updated. I don't know if you have that up and running. If you don't, that's fine.
Do you want to share yours?
Yeah, that'll be easier.
Do that, because I'm only sharing the VS Code.
Nope, I gotcha. Let's see if this shares. And then I've got to add it to the stage. Oh, yep. I got to remove this, add this. Okay, so this happens to be, I don't think there's anything sensitive here. This happens to be our behind the scenes channel content. And just a few seconds ago, this said test future stream, because that's what I called it.
Yeah. And
it has now been updated as if I clicked in here myself and added this stuff. The dates updated, which maybe we didn't do. So theoretically, we could have thumbnails. And see, here's another feature, right? Like, generate the thumbnail for me. Figure out what playlists it should go in, because we do have some playlists.
Yeah.
Right. So I feel like that's pretty cool. Like, what I like about this is, to me, it proves the concept that this can all be done. And in fact, what was really neat about it is I didn't have to go, what I thought was go schedule it with StreamYard, which we have to do today.
Right.
Then go figure out what show it is. And it's like, no, you can get the show ID using the CLI itself.
Right.
And it did, it updated it. So
yeah, we need some kind of a modifier, whether it is the date or
Oh yeah.
title.
I
So
mean,
pull that back.
now it's just additive features
Yeah.
where change the date, put in playlist, pick playlist, generate a thumbnail.
And it'd be nice if we could do something like this. Let me see if I go back into here and we bring up command line again. Oh, there we go. And here's kind of what, oh my gosh. Oh, darn it. Here's what, and the reason I'm going through this, because visually this is what I'm thinking. Like this.
Yes.
Here's
Yeah,
your list
exactly.
of things. Pick the one you want.
Yep. And I mean, I was just thinking that, when you're using the Copilot CLI and it asks you a question, you can use the arrow keys to scroll through it.
Right.
I'm not sure what they're using. I don't know if they're using a console library like Spectre. I really don't know.
I'd say, but something to dig into.
Yeah. And I think that, so, right now, some of the stuff you're doing, this is just what I want to, like, people watching, like, so you have a CLI, it did something for you, but wow, it still seems like a lot of work. Well, the point is keep adding to the user experience and taking that work away from dealing with files and dealing with show IDs. Like, just, no, that'll all be taken care of.
Definitely. Cool. So we own our own CLI now. This is cool.
Yeah. And I thought that was funny because the proliferation of CLIs from, like, the .NET CLI was cool. And I've become very accustomed to it. In fact, there are times where I almost force myself to do something in the CLI rather than just like right click and I mean, look, if you're a Visual Studio developer, right click here, right click there has been part of your workflow forever.
Yeah.
And it's not because I do it because like I'm trying to make it hard. Some of it is I just want to kind of retain some muscle memory on how to do things when I'm not in the Visual Studio IDE. For a couple reasons. One is I might be in VS Code, and also for a lot of our viewers, like, you might not even be on Windows.
Right.
So, VS Code is kind of the gateway of, here's an editor experience not on Windows. I mean, you could use it on Windows, but if you're not on Windows, you're not going to have the VS IDE. And it's also universal is what I like about it. Like, our good friend Jeff Fritz just did a web development workshop on Friday, and it was awesome.
Okay.
And one of the top questions that he got all day long was, hey, you're using VS Code. Should I use VS Code or VS IDE? I mean, that came up again and again and again.
Wow.
And he answered it, right? And one of the pieces there is like, look, you're watching on Windows, you're familiar with Visual Studio, you like Visual Studio, then use it.
Right.
But this is my own answer. I don't want to put words in his mouth but just because I think he said similar things, but this is what I feel a lot, is that a lot of times on this show, I like to use these tools that are universal. Because then anybody watching who says, you know what, this .NET thing is interesting, maybe they got to do a little bit of extra work to go figure out how to get it installed or something, because we didn't cover it on this episode.
Right.
But you get that done. It's all universal. Use the command line. So it's interesting how CLIs are kind of like in vogue again, although even that may be undergoing a little bit of a change, because I think next week we'll probably hear a lot about the preview of the GitHub Copilot app, which is in public preview now. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a second, now we're going back towards apps.
Yeah. But I do think certainly from the tooling perspective, having something that's in the CLI versus having something that's in MCP or talking out to an API, the CLI seems to be what everybody is rallying around when it comes to having agents interact with things. And certainly from the coding perspective, when we think about Playwright, Aspire, GitHub, they've all got CLIs that have been starting to be part of that workflow when it comes to interacting with agents. So Not that we could have an agent talk to our CLI,
Yeah.
but maybe.
Right. And I think like, so there's a lot of ways to go here. Like that CLI is cool. And I really think it's great that that all worked today. That's awesome. And in the future, this whole workflow might become so rote. And maybe this is the litmus test, is the workflow you're doing with the CLI becomes so kind of rote and similar that you're back to running a treadmill again. So you say, now hold on, let me get this in a hosted agent.
Yeah.
That in fact is even better. It's in some hosted agent that somehow, I don't know what it would be, a webhook, writing to a database entry. Who knows? Basically just detects the show is over.
Right.
And says, oh, an event ended. Let me go to work with the stuff that they're about to come over here and ask me to do anyway.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Because when you think about it, generating a thumbnail before the show makes a ton of sense. And I actually think it would make sense to generate one after.
Yeah.
That maybe is a just because for our show, sure, that's an actual viewpoint of us doing something. And I say that because I think this is still true, that in the YouTube meta, that if you change a thumbnail or show title, that it can kick the algorithm to, I almost dislike that term, but it can kick the algorithm to reshop the show.
Oh, okay.
I've heard that from a couple creators. And the reason I believe it's true is because there's creators that I follow that don't do this. And there are some that almost do it. It's almost annoying, where the show is out and it's live and I'll see it. And then I go to find it like 6 hours later and it's got a different title and a different thumbnail.
That's not helpful.
So, well, that's just it, is that the show ID is the same. So if I just add it to a queue, it's fine. But maybe I don't always add things to a queue. And so I go looking for it. And so I feel like, okay, this person is definitely like kind of kicking at the bot, you know? And I believe that it's still the case, is that, well, at least look, let's put it this way. Creators think so. So
that's going to drive behavior, right?
Yeah. And I thought that was really cool, though. And not so much that that's what we're doing here, but I can just see the value in having a thumbnail that represents what we're about to do. And then it would be really neat if an agent could dig through the show and find a screenshot that it finds exciting and says, okay, well, I'm going to make this the after thumbnail.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really neat to think how, once you get an idea going, it's kind of like the spark is amazing. Once it starts, you get a little bit of smoke. Then it's like the ideas just start flowing, and you just want to say to Copilot, okay, now add this, and also add this, and hold on, let's go into plan mode. I've got all these ideas now. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's exciting. Well, this is really cool. I'm so excited about the DevTalkShow CLI because I think I really do think it has a bright future. I think it has a bright future doing everything we're doing and more. And we'll have to have some more shows about it. So
I've got to get this checked in so you can get it on your machine as well.
Yeah, right. All right, cool. Well, Rich, that was great. I was really exciting. I'm glad that we stumbled on the fix there at the end.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to end on a positive.
Yeah, and the best parts of the show is when in the last 10 minutes we figure something out, right? That's what I think is the most exciting. It's like I always feel like part prepared, part live is what we do. So hopefully you enjoyed the show, and you can always watch every show at I'm sure let's see, I'm going to get it. I'm going to beat Rich to the punch. You can watch every show at our archives, which are just at youtube.com, the Dev Talk Show. He's great about getting to that. So any show you miss live there, if you have any ideas or just want to comment on what we've done today, don't forget to hit us up in the YouTube show notes. Today we're on Twitch and YouTube. Hopefully in the future, we'd love to add a third stream, which I suppose we could always do at LinkedIn, but we need more followers.
Yep.
So if that's it, listen, have a great Tuesday morning on their short week here. That's exciting to think about. As we're heading closer and closer to summer. And we will see all of you next time on the Dev Talk Show.